Hey guys, this is Amanda. I just want to let you know that the audio sounds like shit from a butt for the first 20 minutes of this recording, but then it gets better, I promise. Okay, love you, bye. Oh, whoops, sorry, you're right.
Yeah, you had to.
Okay, there we go. You have no idea how actually legitimately helpful it is to have that both of those lines line up. It makes editing
to have the clap. That's good to know.
Having the clap, hear me out, can be kind of beneficial.
You heard it here.
You have
first,
to make
folks.
The clap work for you. That's really what it is. It's like you just have to know how to make the clap work.
It's like the hokey pokey, because that's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about, dude.
You know, you're talking about recording in mono. I may have told this story on the podcast one time, but we were sitting around there, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 of us, including the 3 Farmer brothers, and we're sitting around with our respective, this was sometime last year, I think we were watching football, and because Addison and I, she was on the couch in between Jacob and me, and as he and I were talking, he and I said the same thing at the same time.
Oh,
and she was like, oh my gosh, that was like having surround sound.
It was like stereo.
That was she's like, that was like full stereo sound. And then maybe 5 to 10 seconds went by, and then Sam, across the room, unprompted, goes, my Spotify is set to mono. And then there's a split second of silence, and Jacob just goes, Sam, what the fuck are you talking about?
I love having a sibling.
Sam is such the middle brother, and immediately Jacob Jacob stays ready to dunk on Sam. He is just forever cocked. It's like you and me.
Yeah.
Jacob is just so cocked and ready.
My sister is the same way, and I'm also the same way for my sister. I love having a sibling, and I love having a sibling that's the same gender as me. It's just it's just so special. I have to tell you a really embarrassing story that's really funny.
I'm excited.
Last week, I had a new appointment. Oh my god, I'm already blushing a lot.
Probably because it's 77 degrees.
It's cooling down. I turned the air on.
What did the thermostat say when I walked in? What did it say?
The thermostat said that the limit was 77. So I turned it down.
Bro, this is like Mean Girls, because the limit did not exist.
I turned it down. Shut up.
100 degrees in here.
Can I tell my embarrassing story or not? It's going to make you laugh.
Sorry, I'm too busy silencing women. My bad.
True.
Go ahead.
Literally. Okay, so last week I had a new appointment with a new psychiatrist because I'm on mental health medication, and I got a new doctor because fuck my other doctor, she was so mean and I did not like her. So I got a new doctor, and she was like, I can fill this prescription for this medicine for you, but I would rather it be filled by a psychiatrist who can check in with you, make adjustments, whatever.
Great.
So I had this new appointment with this other doctor. I've been really on my health shit recently, and I've been seeing all types of doctors. And it was a telehealth visit. So I'm in my office at work with the door closed, waiting on the time for the visit to start. And I have the dialogue open, right? So it's waiting for the host to start the meeting, whatever. So I'm scrolling on my phone.
As one does.
And I'm on TikTok.
As one is.
And I come across a Hassan Piker Thirst edit.
As you do.
And I watched it. And I watched it many times because that man is fine as fuck. And I did not know that my psychiatrist had started the meeting. And so she saw and heard me listening, in theory. She started it, and she pretty immediately went, hi, Amanda, and the way you would have thought that my parents walked in on me watching porn. The way that I locked my phone and slammed it on my desk, and I was like, hi, how are you? It was so embarrassing.
And she's just embarrassing. We're going to come back to that. And nice to see you.
I engage in thirst edits of anybody, but specifically Hassan Piker, sort of ironically, but sort of not.
No.
It's a little bit of both, right? I'm doing it for the bit, but also,
There's no irony here.
There's a little bit ironically.
It is fully sploosh o'clock in Amanda world.
Yeah, it's true. And it was a good 2 o'clock, middle of the afternoon of a weekday, me at my desk.
What better
rock
time?
hard, and my psychiatrist being like, hi girl, brand new, first time meeting me. I have no idea how many times she heard the song Cyclone by T-Pain playing as there's a velocity edit of the song Piker shirtless.
Well, you weren't sharing your screen.
No, I know, but I was looking at my phone, and she could see me watching the thing, which is so fucking embarrassing.
She might have thought you were watching a music video.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway.
From 2011 or whatever.
Anyway, I was maybe
No, Cyclone was 2007.
Yeah, it's early 2000s.
They played at my senior prom, which was spring of 2008.
It's a great song. Anyway, I was really fucking embarrassed.
That is embarrassing. You know what else is embarrassing? I'm remembering that Cyclone was played 3 times at my senior prom.
Why would you remember that?
Because
The
I remember
quantity of
commenting on it. Because it played twice at the actual prom, and there was an after party on the General Jackson, which was so sick. Very Franklin High School.
Very slay.
But when we got there, and it was playing, and I
Rules,
obviously didn't drink when I was that age, and so I like remembered. I was like, I think this is the 3rd time we've heard this song tonight, and my date Lauren was like, oh, it definitely is, but I love it, so I don't care.
Yeah, there you go. We one of the things I just did at work was a party for the shoe company bands. And they like know their aesthetic, they know their demographic, like they know their like goth, former emo, recovering millennials. They know, and that's their, because the party was for their employees, so they know their audience. And the DJ was amazing because he would segue from like buy you a drink to Black Parade in a way that like
because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
Oh, you're picking up the dog. No, okay, so listeners, before I started the camera, Eli was bossing this dog around and being mean to her, and she yipped in fear. No. And then he was like, no, come back. And now she's nervous.
No, what happened was we were messing around and oh, damn it, she's really
She's
scarred.
mad.
Well, because we were messing around on the blanket, as we are known to do. There's lots of video footage of that. And then she kind of started to roll herself up into the corner of the blanket. And I was like, she's going to get stuck. And so I picked her up to save her from being stuck, and she yelped when I did that because I think her leg got caught or something. And now she's mad at me. Like, girl, I'm the one that's like being mad at the firefighter because he like bruised your rib while carrying you out of a burning building.
I would be mad.
Iggy, don't blame your hero. I'm your hero right now, okay? Don't look at me like that.
Also, she's feeling anxious because her mom's upstairs.
Her eyes are just too big for her head.
Look, she's so mad.
Yeah.
She is genuinely mad.
Well,
stay tuned to see if Eli can win her over again.
Yeah,
the answer is going to be no.
The chronicles on this podcast of Eli versus Iggy, I guess. But when I stood up and just like put my hands out, she came over. It was like messing around and doing the thing. So I think it's just like the cow has scarred her.
She's looking at me like this bitch. Literally. Okay, you ready to do the theme song?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back to the Pyramid, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name is Amanda, and I'm your host every single freaking week, except for the weeks that I'm literally not.
And I'm Eli, the dipshit participation trophy of co-hosts. What was who annihilated
participation, hitting it again.
Participation. That's what happens when I try to go too fast.
You start slurring.
Something about my mouth.
Sure.
There's a joke there.
Whatever.
What did someone call the
sleeper agent of the patriarchy?
Sleeper agent of the patriarchy.
That's fucking awesome.
We need to shout that person out.
I'll look through it and look through my emails. It is so fucking funny. Sleeper agent for the patriarchy.
For just FYI for all of our listeners and viewers, but particularly the person that wrote that in, my best friend Patrick called me that the other day. He listened to the podcast and he called me that.
I think that Eli's. Awesome. I think that. Oh.
Did Patrick just text you? That's insane.
Yes! Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Anyway, I'll get back to that later. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Okay. We need to talk about pyramids first, and then we can talk about emails. Because I want to make sure that we give enough space for the emails, and we don't just blow through them. So let's get through the pyramid first.
Dope.
What's the bottom of your pyramid, bro?
Bottom of my pyramid's cancer. As I told you when I walked in, just got a call from one of my exes. We're on perfectly good terms. She and I dated, I don't know, what is it, like fucking 9 years ago now is when we broke up. But we're good. But she just called me because she needed to talk to someone. I've had plenty of cancer in my family, and her brother-in-law, she just found out not only has cancer, but he took a turn for the worst.
Sure.
And had to be admitted to the ICU last night, and she's really scared. And I lost 3 grandparents all to cancer before I was 12. And it's just, dude, just fuck cancer, man. I just go donate to something, to anything. The American Cancer Society, the fucking St. Jude, donate to somebody. It sucks. That's the bottom.
My bottom of the pyramid is also cancer. I went to the funeral for my dad's sister yesterday, and I was there all day, and it was ass. in that space, and seeing my parent go through that was really difficult. And I also, like, my sister was giving me a bunch of shit because my sister Neely is not a crier. She's just not. She is a feeler, but she, like, almost never cries. I cry very easily. And yeah, I cry, and especially when I'm alone. Girl, I'm crying all the time. And I had to drive an hour and a half to Kentucky, and I cried almost the whole way there. Because I was thinking about how, like, my dad planned a funeral with his parents.
Yeah.
And that, like, makes me really sad. So.
Yeah,
That's one of the things we bond over. We
Also,
both cry a lot.
Yeah,
like
me and
that
Rachel
sweater.
do cry a lot. Rachel, you gave me a compliment.
Sorry,
Yes, you're rewarded for good behavior quickly, or he'll forget. Like a dog.
I stole it from my best friend in high school. I'm gonna keep it to remind you for.
Thank you for the
You
levity
told,
of this
you
moment.
told me one time.
Don't.
That
Go
you-
ahead.
No, that you.
I don't do this anymore.
That one of your favorite things to do is to steal things.
For
like,
people I don't like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, I stole a Pretz koozie from you. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I felt such
You
betrayal. in that
haven't
moment.
stolen anything from me, have you? And I whipped out like
And you were
4
just
things
like-
of yours that I stole, and you were like, what the hell? I was like, let's see, it was just really easy. It was, I don't even know how I got that. I snuck it to your house, I guess. But I don't do that anymore because that's not healthy, and I've like set that behavior aside. But I did do that until I turned like 24. I
The
sold
magnet collection thing all started because I used to steal those magnets.
Me and Rachel are
That's
so similar.
Crazy.
And I
Kleptomaniacs.
did it up until Paul made me feel really bad about it.
Yeah, that's
Somebody
it's
made that, and I was like, okay, fine. So I bought 2
literally a crime.
online just to be
You
like.
should feel bad. It's literally a crime.
Some losers.
It's like little crime.
Yeah. It's
It's
petty
like
theft.
affecting big corporations.
Emphasis on the petty.
Yeah.
Only theft
And
I'm
it was
familiar with
always,
is petty.
It
it was
feels
always
very
stuff
petty, yes.
that like felt like, hey, I think you're overcharging for this, and I don't think that's fair because it's a necessity forced on me by society, and therefore I'm just playing the game that you were putting me in. So
Oh, stealing from like a
I would actually
company.
never steal from a person,
Okay.
like a human being.
See, that's what I'm
And
talking
like
about.
when I say steal this way, I mean like she let me borrow it and I just never gave it back. So it wasn't like for real stealing.
Can't relate. Mine was actual stealing. What's the
From people.
Well, yeah, from people. Yeah, but I don't do it anymore. Eli, what's the middle of your pyramid, bruh?
Middle of my pyramid is staying up late, like
Okay.
really late. I basically like never stay up past like I don't know 1 a.m. on weekends and weeknights. It's like I don't know 11, maybe 11:30 at the latest.
Sure.
I was up until 4 this morning
Why?
playing
What the
video games
hell?
with a couple of my buddies.
Dicking around.
Yeah, Colin was one of them. It was great, dude. We were just like we got on at like 11
Yeah.
p.m. and just played for 5 straight
Just
hours.
doing your thing.
Yeah, it was awesome. The game we were playing had like a lot of stuff that we all needed to get done together, and it was
Needed to get done as well.
yeah, there's like certain rewards. For
I have
doing
some things I
certain
need to do in
things.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure, but I'm afraid to be playing that around you. Because last time I was playing it around you, you started yelling at me. So,
That's quite literally so not what
because
happened.
you're like, you stupid girl.
I didn't say that either.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't say a
Well,
single
I felt
word
like
in
you
that
did.
sentence.
That's what matters.
No, I was like, well, let's zoom out and look at the island, and let's look at see
I
if
was
there's
like,
like a
no.
pattern before you might find things. And you're like, Eli, stop yelling at me. I was like, I thought we were playing this game together right now. I thought we were bonding. Be like, oh, well, let's take a look here.
Yeah, your exact words actually to me were, I'm trying to take interest in the things you like. And you're
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to help you. And I was like, shut up.
Yeah, yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Anyway, but yeah, so last night we were up. We were playing video games. I drank a soda. I ate an entire frozen pizza, and
Whoa, big if true.
so like all that was fucking dope. And then I woke up this morning and it was like noon, and my day was half over
Was
already.
gone. Yeah. Yeah. Been there. The middle of my pyramid is planning a surprise party. I am planning a surprise party for my parents. Nobody tell them. And I know it's happening, and especially this weekend with like my dad's sister's funeral, like they have been so going through it, and like my mom having surgery, and like all these, she's like been in a wheelchair for a few months, and that's been really hard for her. And they've just been like really going through it, and I know that for their birthday, all of their best friends are gonna come to a party, and all of their family, like we're gonna turn the party. And I got dinner with my mom's best friends and my sister to like do the planning, and it's gonna be so fucking fun, and they're gonna have the best time ever, but I obviously can't tell them. So.
Yeah.
But I'm so
Keeping-
excited. My parents' song that I don't know if they danced to it at their wedding or if it's just like over time become like their song, is How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You by James Taylor.
Sure.
Great song, a banger, some might say. And, like, that's what's gonna, like, when they turn the lights on, everyone's like, surprise! Like, we're gonna hook up the phone to the Bluetooth speaker and, like, play that song as they're coming in, and, like, there's gonna be food, and, like, my friend's mom makes custom cookies, and we're gonna do, like, disco ball cookies, and have, like, a photo op. It's gonna be so fun.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And I'm so excited about it, but I can't tell them. And I'm afraid that one of our family members is gonna bring it up on accident. Because some of my family members be old, and they be forgetting things. So
they just be
I told my grandparents several times yesterday, remember, this is a surprise. They do not know. Please do not bring it up. And they were like,
in fact,
got
don't
it.
tell anyone.
Just show up and don't tell anybody about it. Yeah.
Show up and shut up.
What is the top of your pyramid?
I have two.
Awesome.
The first of which you and I experienced together.
Oh, God.
But we witnessed
scared.
someone taking themselves out to dinner. And
that absolute fucking legend.
I knew
at the club.
as soon as I saw that guy, I was like, that's the top of the pyramid.
That
right
guy's
there.
awesome.
This guy, so Amanda and I went and got Mexican food on Friday night, and a pitcher of peach margaritas that we slaughtered.
And I had a tahini rim, and it was so good. I've been thinking about it a lot since Friday. It was awesome.
That was a hell of a rim job.
Mm-hmm. True.
So anyway, but this guy was over in the corner, and he was taking himself out to dinner. He had his headphones in. He's in a corner booth. He had his headphones in, sitting by himself. Got cheese dip, a full entree, and a full pitcher of margaritas for himself.
Legend.
That's a fucking vibe.
Legend.
If you don't take yourself out to dinner because you're afraid of, like, I don't know, public scrutiny, just like being seen or dude, go do it. I promise you.
Yeah.
Bring your headphones and just like watch a YouTube video or something. I don't care. Bring a book, but like take yourself out to dinner, go out to a bar by yourself, like do something like that. It's awesome. It is so awesome. It's so refreshing. The second top is that, speaking of Patrick, is so this past weekend was WGI finals in drums.
Right.
Patrick teaches at George Mason University.
Sure.
Long time, like second or third tier in the world class percussion world. There's like Pulse and Rhythm X, Mystique,
Sure.
RCC, like those kinds of guys. And then there's like Infinity and a few others. And GMU, George Mason is like, they're around there. They're somewhere between like 8 to 15-ish. Sure. Anyway, Patrick taught there last year. They did fine. But this year, they not only got their highest score ever of 94 point whatever, which is crazy good.
Really good.
They placed their highest ever, which is 6th.
Iconic.
They beat Mystique, which is insane.
That's
Mystique
awesome.
is the hometown for all of our band nerds out there. Music City Mystique is an indoor drum line. They're the hometown team. They're based in Nashville, Tennessee. And like everyone around here just knows that, oh my God, they're the greatest. They have gold medals and world championships and blah, blah, blah. And George Mason out in fucking DC just beat them, which is wild. The first time ever. And so shout out to Patrick. Because that is sick. Oh, and even probably the best thing about that, they won fan favorite. Like there's like a fan vote for like who's like the most fun, entertaining show. And George Mason won that. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Also, I'm going to put a normalizer on it, so maybe that will also.
Okay. Yeah.
Think so. Oh well, it's not going to help the first.
That's okay.
Quarter or whatever that.
A lot of people skip the first little bit anyway,
which is fine, because it was recorded in mono, and a normalizer is only going to help 2 different lines of audio, not just one, because there's nothing to normalize it against because it's just one.
Sure.
So hopefully this will be helpful. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun though. We get to see, hey, everyone, write in and tell us.
Sorry.
If the sound is actually like better or worse.
Also, the headphones I listen to in the monitor are shitty and like blah blah blah.
No, that's all fine. It's funny though because I guarantee you there's a non-0% of our listenership that's like, we don't really give a shit what Eli has to say anyway. We just want to hear Amanda's voice.
There's also a non-0% of hosts that don't give a shit what you have to say.
What do you think? It's somewhere between like the 40 to 60 mark?
I would say it's 50% of all of our podcast hosts don't give a shit what you have to say. It's 66.6% when Iggy's here.
No,
and it'd be that 2/3. Okay, my top of the pyramid requires a little bit of show and tell. Here are the items I'm showing and telling. Okay. Oh wait.
What the hell is that?
This one. Okay. If you are a person who wears makeup and you are a person who's looking for a lip combo, I have found the holy grail of lip products for people who be me, who be talking and be eating, okay? I have never in my life ridden so hard for products as I do for these two MFs right here in my hand. The first of which, and I have two backups I'll get to in a second. The first of which is a lip liner, because you can't have, this is a lesson in beauty for you, because Lord knows you need them.
I need lip liner?
No, you need lessons in beauty. Your lip product can't just be out there with no boundaries. You gotta set some boundaries around her. So you gotta put on a lip liner to keep it contained. You know what I mean? So I recommend, for the people who be talking and eating like me, I recommend, it's called the NYX Line Loud. It is a pencil. It is non-retractable. Retractable lip liner, see me in the streets. I have some hands for you. That shit is thin.
Don't you mean lips?
It is thin and, sorry, trigger warning, moist as fuck. And I don't want that. I want some shit that's going to get on my skin and not fucking move. I accidentally scraped some on my hand earlier, like an hour ago, and I can't get it to come off because that shit stays on you. So, the shade I have is shade Sassy, but the S's are all dollar signs. Slay. And I love it because
what is it, Kesha?
I love it. No, she took the dollar signs off because of her beef with her producer.
It's baby, no. He also has a dollar sign. BBNO dollar sign.
No. I'm thinking of Dr. Luke.
Baby, no money. He's
hush. This is my turn. If you're a person who is Caucasian as fuck like me, and you tend to favor like a dusty rose or like a brown pinkish color on your lips, like me,
what?
I recommend her. Shut up. Her. And then I recommend also NYX. It's called Fat Oil in the shade Sprinkle. Very slay.
What?
It is a color depositing lip gloss, which is very hard to come by. I am not a matte on my lips. I like to be matte like on my face, but not on my lips. It stresses me out.
You ever dated someone named Matt?
Hey, have you ever thought about not speaking? Have you
Not once.
Let me introduce a new idea to you.
No.
Shut up.
I have all the ideas in my brain that I'll ever need.
Shut up. I'm trying to talk about makeup with my friends.
And I have funny things to say, damn it.
When are you going to start saying them? I haven't heard any yet. Like, damn.
All right, talk about your new friend, Matt.
So, it makes... She be looking like this on the end. This is the doe foot. It's gigantic. Love her. The only downside to this is that you do... Close your ears. Close your ears. You do have to pump it a few times for it to work. So you got to hit a couple of these. You know what I mean? Okay, you can unplug your ears.
What were you just doing?
You got to hit a couple of those really quick to get it to... Because it is an oil, and there's an oil and a color, and it separates, so you got to do a couple of those.
Throughout
the day.
Shove it in there?
Shut up. Throughout the day. If you want to rehydrate your lips but not add color to them, like the color's good, they just be feeling a little dry, I recommend Vitamask. This is from Target. It was $3.50 in the shade Caramel. It also smells like caramel, which is very exciting to me personally. I recommend her. Look how much product is in here. Girls, gays, and days. It is 0.3 fluid ounces for a lip gloss. That's a shit ton of product right here. Love her. I personally really like a harsh line of demarcation in my lips. If you don't like that and you want it to be a smoother color, I recommend NYX Line Loud, but in a different shade. In the shade 10 out of 10. It's like a 9 out of 10 because it's almost the exact same color as the gloss. So if you want that, these are the products. I shit you not. Every single time that I have had Sassy and Sprinkle, every single time I use these MFs, I get compliments. I'm not kidding. Every fucking time in my office, out in public, anywhere, someone will always compliment them. Not saying that's what you're after. I'm just saying it works, obviously. Let's ask the audience. And I keep these in my bag. I have like 4 of these because they're so fucking cheap from NYX. You can get them at like CVS or Walmart or Ulta, beauty supply store. They're everywhere. All 4 of these things at the top of my pyramid. The end. What stupid boy stuff do you want to say now?
I don't know. You didn't like the term hitting the gym the other day. I could just say that a few
you said
times.
I'm going to hit the gym, and I was like, I'm going to hit
that
you.
That is a very common thing that people say.
No, I know, but like... Ugh.
Would you prefer I say, I'm going to go get a pump.
No, but like hitting the gym is like when
You're gonna
someone
get
says
swole.
like high value female.
No, it is
Yes,
not.
it is.
No, it is
yes,
not.
Yes, it is.
Hitting the gym is I'm going to go to the gym.
Why can't you just
high
say
value
go to the
female
gym?
is ripe with misogyny.
Why can't you just say I'm gonna go to? Why do you have to say hitting the gym?
Because that's more syllables.
You just want to say more syllables.
No, I want to say fewer syllables.
So go to the gym.
Hit the gym.
Oh, I'm gonna hit. Okay, hit the gym. I was thinking hitting the gym. It's just annoying.
High value female is insane.
Yeah, and that's how high value female makes me feel like hit the gym.
Okay, well that's a you thing. That's not a what it is thing.
No, I think it's awful.
That's crazy.
Okay, we have so many listener emails, and people are sliding in our DMs pissed that we don't read their emails. So before somebody tweets my address and doxes me, I'm going to read out emails. Okay, the first one is from... I think I can... No, sorry, I was just looking to see if I can say this person's name, and I think I can. Because they give me the pronunciation. So the name... Well, the start of the email says Hola Parasocial, and then it's supposed to be like... The word is AMIGXS, and it's pronounced like amigos, but it's like...
Gender
it's
neutral.
like gender neutral.
No, I get
Love. My name is Cynthia.
Yes!
Sin or Sino for short. She,
Dude,
her.
She's been writing in for
Oh,
she's been
slay,
a
really?
long time listener.
Oh,
yes.
I love that. Okay, it's the first time I'm hearing from her. I'm a Cuban artist living... Oh, no, wait. No, it's not. Cuban artist living in Miami. Eli's already familiar with me. I reverse cyberbullied him once, so I suppose we're instant pals. I'm also the one who ran into Christy at the cruise and told her about you guys. Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. She's a real one.
And I've been meaning to write to you two for a while. I started watching Dance Moms in the early 2000s, maybe like 2011. And when I got my own apartment growing up in Cuba after the fall of the Soviet Union, all my ballet teachers were either Russian or Russian trained. And let me say, they make Abby look like Barney.
Jeez.
So I suppose there was something cathartic about the show for me. I've listened to the podcast since sometime in 2022. I was going through a time, but spelled Toime. A time. And rewatching the show, and it came across the podcast in its early stages while painting a mural on the beach in 30-mile-per-hour winds. I consume a lot of podcasts while painting, so I don't really interact or write in much, but felt compelled to do so after listening to your last episode. Amanda, dude, I'm so sorry you went through that. Hearing your voice crack after years of Dance Mom's goofiness was rough, and I wanted to... Hey, really quick, it was rough to be me also. It was rough for me as well. And I wanted to commend you for being so honest. I'm actually going to share a podcast season with you at the end of this message. The first season of that podcast really helped me accept that I wasn't insane and feeling like I had been manipulated for years. And I think you'll really relate to that season in that men will do literally anything to avoid being honest. That is so fucking true. Men will do anything but be honest. I'm proud to say that I am out now, though not legally, of that situation. And I owe a lot to the strong women and dudes in my life who helped me pick up the pieces. My pyramid is all over the place. The bottom is subterranean. These times just suck. For everyone. One of my dreams since moving here at 10 was to bring my cousin Bestie over. She's just 6 months older than me. She has 2 kids. After working my butt off and thanks to a humanitarian visa program open to Cubans, Haitians, and Venezuelans by the past admin, I was able to do that. They've been here since last May and are excelling at work, school, life, and their eldest is speaking English. We couldn't be prouder. But our administration just announced that everyone on that parole has a month to self-deport or be arrested. So to call this my bottom is laughable, but there you go. The problem was never legal immigration, and I'm proud of you guys for speaking out politically. I know that's not something you feel comfortable or equipped to do at first, but you're more equipped than our president, and I'm glad you're using your platform to voice your opinions. Also, as a side note, immigration has never been the problem literally ever.
No.
Whatever is considered legal and whatever is considered illegal, the immigrants aren't the problem. It's the people who were born here.
We're a nation of immigrants, by the way. None of us were fucking born here.
I can't even.
No one's illegal on stolen land.
Also that part. I'll keep the rest simple. My middle is divorce. I'm so glad it's happening, but it's also really hard with kids and a prenup. With kids, get a prenup even if you don't have a penny to your name. Get one.
Yeah. I will say no good marriage ever ends in divorce. And while I'm sure that it's, like she said, it's incredibly hard. Congratulations. You know that there's a better life for you after it's over.
Yeah, for sure. The top is having a girlfriend who is also a top. Ayo, because life feels better. That's what the email says.
Hell yeah.
Because life feels like a never-ending sleepover with your hot best friend. Slay. I hope that wasn't too wordy. Keep up the good work, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Love, Scene.
I'll if she write in again, because like her Instagram, like her artwork I've seen, it is bonkers good.
What's the handle?
It's I don't know if she wants the
okay.
traffic. I'll show you.
Okay.
But
I was gonna put
she's
the handle up, but
fucking good, dude.
I believe it. I believe that all of our listeners are incredibly talented and smart and beautiful.
This is like different.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. This was from Melissa.
Yes.
This is a chain from Melissa because we've been ignoring her. Not ignoring, we've been cutting her out the last couple of weeks because we've been trying to keep it
delaying.
Brief. Yeah. She says, "Hi, Amanda and Eli. How are you? Thank you so much for the birthday shout out. I loved it. I recently found all of my old dance videos and photos, and I had a dance to the song Smooth Criminal with a fuck-ass fedora, and I sent the picture to you. Jill would be so proud. Random question. I'm so excited. If you and Eli were drag queens on Drag Race, what would your drag name be? Think about it. I'm going to come back to you.
Oh, boy. That's
I already
so
know
much
what mine is.
pressure.
I've thought about this so many times. Also, I know this is Tony's job, but I wanted to give some behind-the-scenes info for once. Kalani and Sarah were trained at the same studio in Arizona, and that's how Kira and Tracy know each other. Also, I think we talked about this last week from somebody else, but it's still true. Also, back in season 2, Maddie and Cameron competed against each other when Maddie did the I Can't Find Words solo. And if you listen to the episode closely, in the pyramid, Abby says she's entering Maddie into the title division, but during the awards, Maddie isn't in the title division and only won her age division. And the reason why all of this happened is because reason why the show did this is because Cameron beat her at the title. So they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do the title," and then she was like, "Oh, just kidding," and that's because Cameron beat her.
Damn.
Cameron was taking classes at the ALDC a couple months before being cast on the select team. Abby put Chloe against Cameron because she knew Maddie couldn't beat Cameron because Maddie had already beaten her, or Cameron had already beaten her.
Yeah.
Thought you would find this interesting. My pyramid of life has exams at the bottom, packing in the middle, and seeing my dog at the very top.
You betcha.
My song of the week is Breaking Free from High School Musical because it's a classic and the best movie ever. I love that movie, Alyssa. It's so fucking good.
Well, that's awesome.
Can't wait to keep listening, and I totally forgive you for not ending last week's episode with Goodnight, Alyssa. How could you forget that? Just kidding. And then she sends a picture of a fuck-ass fedora, and it's awesome.
I need to see that right now. You hear that?
It's iconic.
That's perfect.
That's literally awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The pose is truly great.
And then she sends another email like a couple days ago and said, "I just want to thank you for being so vulnerable last week. I have also had guys treat me like trash, and your bravery to share your story is inspiring. I also am sending this email attached to my other email from last week because I really want you to read it. And also, you forgot to say goodnight, Alyssa, again." With like the crying emoji.
I think it was twice in a row.
And then she said, "I haven't been able to sleep for 3 weeks without your comforting words. Anyway, LOL, hope you see this next week."
Yeah, we said it last week.
Yeah, but only because Eli was like, "Wait, what's going on?" I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even know."
Yeah.
Okay, this email is from a listener named Kay, and I'm not shitting you. I shit you not. The subject line of this email is "Your co-host sucks, Amanda, LOL." Crazy.
The subject. That's coming out
Subject
hot.
line. "Hello, Amanda and the random guy who is very forgettable, and I'm sure..." What? Oh, who is very forgettable. You can share my name. I'm Izzy. Just kidding. Your email is from... You emailed me from somebody else's email then. Anyway, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah, maybe. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is also my favorite cereal.
Yes,
it's really the best.
correct.
The duet from the Candy Apples, the duet was simply amazing. It's my best duet. Wait, what? I cannot read. The best duet to be on the show, in my opinion. The show did it no justice, but there's the full dance online. That's absolutely exquisite. I do want to say, oh my God. I'm like really struggling. It's not you, it's me. I promise it's not you, it's me. I do want to say the show downplayed Sarah a lot. Footage of her dancing off the show, like at her real technique level and at her age, was very similar to Maddie and Chloe. And she was pegged to be just like Maddie, but her mom fucking sucks. She didn't say fucking sucks. She said her mom's the worst. That's just like autofill in my brain. That's enough gassing up that Trumpy, though. I do want to let you know that Gino's older brother, Kevin, you may remember him going on a date with Brooke and shoving cake in her face. I do remember that.
Oh, yeah.
He was actually taking classes at the ALDC around that time and was featured on the show. That's Gino's older brother who went on that weird-ass date with Brooke. Yeah.
Wow, the pieces are coming together.
They're from Miami, and Gino was actually a part of the spinoff Dance Moms Miami. And John, who choreographed their duet that went against Maddie and Gino, he was actually their coach at Dance Attack outside of the show. So they're all connected. Gino just performed at the Grammys with Sabrina Carpenter. Slay.
Dude, good for him.
Yeah, his brother has some charges I don't want to fully speak on, but if you're catching my drift, they're very inappropriate.
Wait, the one who mushed cake into Brooke's face?
I guess. Oh, yeah. I remember getting an email about that after the fact, and somebody was like, hey, that guy's super freaky. And
clearly.
Yes, that remains
shoving food into someone else's face is quite literally 100% of the time always a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially those
doing
weddings.
It at a wedding.
That's so embarrassing.
It's crazy.
To be like, all eyes are on me and my new wife. Let me embarrass her.
Yeah, let's fuck with her.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's insane. Okay, and then, of course, the last email that we have is from Tony. And he says, what's up, girlies? This is the local dance Shira of Line 3 with some thoughts on Gino and some intel on Chloe's fall. So, for those in the audience who don't remember, Gino and Mickey were on the show earlier within the series as part of Kathy's team. But my thought on why Gino is at the studio for the duet with Maddie is because his brother was a part of the senior company. Yes, Kelly and Christy talked about this way back in the days when Gino was on Kathy's team. So, onto Chloe's fall in the dance when she went to do the kick, like her physical fall. When she went to do the kick, I forgot what the actual name of the kick is. She is shown slipping and falling, but that was from their unjudged performance and was only put in to cause drama between Christy and Abby. Crazy.
This show is exhausting.
So that's why they won. Remember, we were like, oh, they won instead of, like, in spite of her falling? Yeah, because that was from the unjudged, just, like, taped version. Yeah. So she didn't do that in the judged version, which is ridiculous. Onto the pyramid. I'm going to try to keep things short and sweet. Bottom of the pyramid is working 6 days a week. It sucks.
Yup.
Retweet from the both of us.
Yup.
Middle of the pyramid is the fact that I applied for a position to be the lab tech for Line 3, and I'm scared of the possibility that I don't get it, but I'm thinking that I might. Period. Good for you for asking what you want. Top of the pyramid is the fact that I got LASIK eye surgery like a few weeks ago, and thank fuck I can finally see without glasses.
Yeah.
Bottom of the week. Song of the week is, speaking of bottoms, we need to come back to what your drag name would be. Song of the week is Legendary from the Wisdom Saga because it's so good and it's so fun to perform. Anyway, I tell you what, good night, Alyssa. What's up, Iggy the Piggy? And in all caps, Line 3 is airblown. Line 3 is airblown. King Tony, King of the Coke Employees, Bestie of the Pod, Dance Shira of Line 3, Line 3's Lord and Savior, the behind-the-scenes correspondent, the main girlie of Idaho, and everyone's favorite Mexican. Period, Tony. Very period. I already know what my drag name would be because I've thought about this before, obviously.
What was she just doing?
She was scratching her mouth.
Yeah, that was
while
she was standing up.
Well, she couldn't do it with her front leg.
That's crazy.
Her front leg probably can't. She would not be able to get the itch. Iggy, don't let this man hurt your feelings, please.
Okay, so
I know what mine would be if you still need a second to think about it. Mine would be, I would be a drag king. I have thought about this a lot, and I would be doing like e-boy influencer shit, and my name would be Lincoln Bio, and I would be like Lincoln
good.
Bio, and I'd be doing genuine pony e-boy shit.
That's good. Who's I'm really inspired, I think, by like Roxy in season 5.
You love Roxy Andrews, and you're here to make it clear.
It is largely because of when they had to do like the kids show or whatever.
Oh,
and
Tasha
she made
Salad.
her name Tasha Salad. That's
Tasha Salad.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm also thinking of that one time that Milk in season 6 did that outfit with like this long gray beard.
I remember.
I think that mine could be Gandalf Biggerstaff.
Ooh, and you would be like witchy, not witchy,
like
but
fantasy kind of things. Yeah,
that's very much a drag niche. Fantasy stuff is very much a drag niche.
Yeah. And there would be, I could have like taglines, if you're looking for fantasy, I'm right here, or something like that.
Yeah. There's a good workroom entrance line. Yeah.
There has like a dick-related pun, obvious.
Duh.
And Gandalf did have a staff, so it's perfect.
Also
Gandalf
slay.
Biggerstaff.
I love that. You ready to get into the content of this episode?
You bet your bottom dollar I am.
Period. Okay, we are talking about...
I just ran into the mic with my chin.
So annoying.
Icky.
Oh, we're talking about Season 4, Episode 23. It's called 3 Soloists, 1 Star. Hate. Again, fucking hate that. So annoying.
Well, 1 star is what I would give this episode, actually.
Actually, yeah. Also, it's not on the Lifetime app. So for the person who is eating my shit
ass?
it was eating my ass on YouTube about how I need to watch the Lifetime version or whatever because it's not the real episodes on any other platform. The Lifetime app doesn't have this episode, and I think it's because they repeatedly use a slur in this episode. That's like more recently people have been like, hey, you shouldn't say that word about a certain demographic of people.
Oh, right.
And I think they took it off the Lifetime app, but it was on Hulu.
It sure
was on
was.
everything else. So Lifetime, you can run, but you can't hide. Let's see. Okay, previously on, we have like a new team for a second. Chloe beat her number 1 op. Maddie was working for Sia, and Christy is annoying. That's what you missed on Glee, pretty much. There was something Glee related I was going to say earlier.
Glee-lated?
What was it?
I don't know.
No, it's gone now.
Into the ether.
Yeah, I'll never remember what it was. This week we're in Pittsburgh, we're in the mirror room, and the girlies are hyped as fuck when they walk in because they just beat Kathy again.
They come parading in. Abby's like, "You're the winners, you beat Kathy!"
They're like, woo! They're like very excited to come in.
And my thought here is like, why does Kathy keep trying?
I don't know.
Like, she gets her ass handed to her every time they see each other. Why? Like, why? How? This isn't a rivalry anymore.
Yeah.
It's just
What's
not.
What's the point? Yeah.
It's a reign of dominance.
Yeah, that's fair. Maddie's not here. In this moment, she will show up later on in the episode, but in this moment, she's not here because she's on Ellen talking about the Chandelier music video. We see it a couple of times, like a couple of cuts throughout this episode. That music video is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Maddie's great.
And Abby in her talking head is like, she's talking about how she wants the other girls to prove that they can play characters like fully like Maddie does. Because Abby is of the opinion, or the opinion that she's vocalizing, what she's telling us is that she thinks that Maddie got the part because she's the best actor. And so she's like, all the other girls can do that too. It's just as easy and accessible for them. But the other girls choose to be, not talented or not emotive or whatever.
Well, the thing is,
which is annoying because that's not true.
Well, a lot of the kids, I think, are trying to like remember all the technique things that Abby has told them over the years.
Right.
And they're like, while they're putting their full like attention into like, I have to point my foot here. I have to remember the choreography. Maddie gets so much extra time and attention that like all the technique things just happen with her. And so then she can think about emoting.
Right.
It's like in marching band, learning to like march and play at the same time.
Right.
Like, you have to learn to do those things together and do it so many times that it just becomes natural to do one and the other both well. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, a lot of time, like, newer marchers, when you're a freshman and sophomore in marching band, it's very hard to do that because you have to think so much. What are my feet doing? Oh, shit, I'm not playing correctly, or vice versa.
Right. Abby in her talking head says, I made Maddie.
Oh,
which I was like, Melissa would like a word. Like, Melissa actually, like, physically made Maddie. So for you to be like, I made her is, like, kind of crazy.
That is crazy. Abby also, at one point in this conversation, floats, like, bringing in another kid to, like, be on the team.
Annoying.
Just, like, she has to instill some level of fear at all times.
At all times, yeah. And she tells the kids, like, there's not really that much difference between y'all and Maddie because all of you take the same classes. Hear me out. I do understand that Maddie gets more time because Maddie's homeschooled, which we'll come back to later. But I do think it's a good, like, level set for the other girls to be like, y'all are in class too. You are in class with her. And if Maddie was not given special, like, opportunities on the side, and that was the truth, that is a good thing to tell students, I think, to be like, y'all are all here. You're all in the same rehearsal. That person's just getting more out of it because they're putting more into it.
Sure.
Which in any other setting is true and good advice. In this setting, that's not really totally true.
I guess, but also, like, that kind of paints the picture that, like, you aren't where they are because you're not trying as hard. And a lot of times that isn't necessarily true.
Sure.
Especially with young kids, you can't just say, try harder. You have to, like, show them what that looks like.
Yeah.
You have to explain to them, like, what it really looks like. Don't just say, go home and practice that.
Yeah.
How? Explain
set up-
how
yeah.
to develop good practice habits. 9 to 13-year-olds don't have good practice habits. They
Yeah.
just straight up don't.
Yeah, because
And
they
so,
be
like,
lazy. Because they're children.
And so I bet fucking Maddie doesn't either. She's just in class and private lessons the whole time.
Yeah.
I think if you were just like, here's a dance, go home and practice forever, Maddie would be as good as she is. No.
Yeah, that's fair.
She's being taught good practice habits. She's being made to practice correctly, and the other kids aren't. So
Sure.
Abby saying just work harder is not doing anything because
Not
they don't
super
know what that
helpful.
means.
That's fair. Iggy has joined. Look at the iglet. She's
Yes,
so
we've made up.
cute. She's so sweet, baby.
I love this dog
her.
so much. It's crazy.
I love her so much. Oh, she's gonna yawn.
Hell yeah, dude.
I love her. Okay. Abby tells Sarah, because Sarah's here. She's like, hey, Sarah, what's up? You're a guest this week. Don't get it twisted.
Well, she's been a guest.
Right, but she just, like, says it again.
Just a reminder, 9-year-old, I hate you.
You're a guest.
You're on thin ice.
Yeah, I could kick you out at any moment if I felt like it.
Well, if Sarah gets kicked out, it's 100% because of her mother.
That's also true.
Has Sarah said more than 2 words before this episode?
No, she talks the most in this episode I've ever heard her talk, and it's
Yeah.
not
Not
for
great.
good reason. Yeah.
Nope.
Abby in her talking head is like, as long as Christy behaves, Sarah gets to stay, whatever. Okay, Pyramid of Children. Later on, there's like a zoom out, and we see that the pyramid is just a square, because there's 6 kids, and it's like 3 on bottom, 3 on top, but the quote-unquote Pyramid of Children is as follows. Bottom worst child is Maddie, because she's not here, which is kind of nuts, because Abby doesn't usually give a shit if Maddie's here or not. She's
Right.
usually at the top no matter what.
Right.
The next worst child is Chloe because she took a fall. Dog shit opinion. She took a fall on the non-judged, like, recorded version.
They just
but whatever.
need something.
I know. And then Nia is the next worst child because of that same nondescript feedback of it's just not where it needs to be for a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah. Just generally speaking, you're not great.
Yeah, you should just be better. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, awesome.
I
Thank
think
you
I've
for that
talked.
feedback.
I've talked about this before, but my buddy Scott and I laugh about this a lot. That like this guy Ian Hunt we used to march with
Mm-hmm.
at MTSU would just be like, "All right, guys, so we're gonna do the exact same thing, just way better."
Kind of funny.
Yeah.
There's
Well, he's also saying that to like college kids.
Yeah. There's a commercial that Will Smith and Jaden Smith did for a water company a long time ago. That's so funny, and the gimmick is like his dad is trying to teach him how to be an actor, right?
Yeah.
And so Jaden's like, this water brand does this, and this. And at one point, Will Smith goes, all right, I'm going to do it again, but do it better. And he goes, Dad, that's not helpful. The like middle of the pyramid, but it's not the middle because it's 3 on 3, but whatever. The next worst child is Sarah. And Abby says that she's just a beat behind everybody else. Like,
Said she works
choreographically,
hard, but
she's
she
a beat
is
behind. And her mom goes, that's not true. She can't not say it. She can't just sit there and shut up. She has to have the dissenting opinion, which is so annoying. And then the next worst kid is Mackenzie because she pulled focus in a bad way because she's too short. Which,
Yeah.
like,
How is
too
that?
short's not her fault.
How is that feedback, Abby?
Be taller.
Yeah.
All right, great. I'll get working on that right now.
Isn't she taller than Sarah as well, or are they like the same height?
Well, but Sarah's only 8, and I think Mackenzie's
Sarah's 9. I think they directly say that in this episode.
Oh, okay. I thought Mackenzie was a little bit older. And then Kendall is the next. No one's at the top.
If it's not Maddie, it's nobody.
Exactly.
Damn it.
It's like if it's not Maddie, the pyramid is a rectangle. The pyramid is almost a rectangle. It's a square. And Kendall's like the least bad child because she took it seriously. Great. Because none of the other kids are taking it seriously, I guess. This week we're going to the Shenandoah Valley for Powerhouse.
What did you say?
The Shenandoah Valley.
Oh, I thought you said Shangela Valley.
No, wishful thinking, bitch. You're just ready to watch Drag Race.
Yes.
I can sense that from you. I lived a summer in the Shenandoah Valley working at a professional theater. Shouts out to Besties of the Pod, Stevie and Cecilia. Them bitches know what I'm talking about because we worked there together and it was not the best job ever. We're also getting a bunch of solos this week. And there's a group routine. So the group routine...
Can we go ahead and say, like you alluded to before... the title of the group piece is something that some people might consider offensive.
Group? The substitute would be Romani. because that's the actual people group that they're referring to.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
The
thought it
people of
was
Romania.
more just like nomadic traders
Yeah,
of
I mean
the
that
Middle
too.
East.
That's also part of it too. But Romani is better to say than what it actually is, because I did a little bit of Googling, not as much as I probably should have, but I did a little bit of Googling, and that word is like the back half of the word Egypt, and people thought that they came from Egypt, which no, they didn't. They came from somewhere else, but they just assumed that they came from Egypt because they were like quote unquote stealing from people and like running around, and so they called them that as like a dismissive, pejorative thing. But they're like Romani traveler nomadic people.
My understanding was that wasn't like, it wasn't like offensive. It just wasn't accurate.
Yeah.
And so, but
Could be both.
doing the thing, trigger warning, I'm going to use a not okay thing to say, but saying like to take advantage of someone, especially like financially, is like you got gypped.
Yeah.
For example, it's the same thing as like I, as a Jewish person, again, it's fine. Saying like, oh, they really Jewed him over, or they Jewed you out of that money or whatever. Like that is something that is offensive to say. That is the offensive thing. I wasn't aware that the term, forgive me, gypsy was an offensive thing.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, true.
About that.
It's also, that word Tramps and Thieves is the name of the group dance. That's also the name of a Cher song.
Can we call it G's, Tramps and Thieves?
Sure, if you want to. My notes say Romani's Tramps and Thieves all over the place.
Oh,
but
well, G's, Tramps and Thieves sounds better.
There you
so
go.
we're doing that. And G stands for gangsta.
Nia's face, I don't know if you're allowed to say that either.
Yes, you are.
You specifically.
Maybe not like that.
Maybe not like that. Yeah. Nia's face, not excited about this. And also Holly's not excited about this. They cut to them back and forth. And like Nia's like at the mirror and she like cuts eyes to her mom and then looks back at Abby. And Holly's like looking at Nia and then looks back at Abby, like they have like a telepathic
Yes,
mom
because
to daughter moment.
they
'Cause
also
they're like, "What?"
both know that there's going to be some like kind of racist tomfoolery going on.
Oh,
they
yeah.
both immediately they'd both know, and all
Like,
the
for the love
all the
of
white kids
God.
and white moms like, oh well, this will be
Like,
fun.
ooh, something different.
And meanwhile, the two people of color are like, fucking, here we go again.
For the love of fuck, yeah.
It's that clip from Grand Theft Auto. Oh shit, here we go
Oh shit,
again.
here we go again. Yeah, it's very that. Abby says the lead is going to be whoever she feels like earns it.
That was
Fucking
so
sick.
That was so good.
So not helpful. I do not know how to meet that expectation, and you will yell at me when I don't.
That was really
Fucking
funny.
awesome.
The lead is whoever the
Whoever
fuck I say.
And she kind of gives it. She like kind of like lets the room breathe a little bit. She's like, the lead is going to be whoever I feel like earns it.
Yeah.
Sick.
Very Napoleon Dynamite of you. Whoever I feel like, gosh.
Oh my God, I was having a conversation with some people I work with about how awesome that movie is, and
It's
then,
great.
But you know what movie's better? Like in that
A
same
lot of
vein.
them?
In that same vein.
Oh, Hot Rod.
Hot Rod.
Yeah.
That movie is fucking awesome.
Well, the production value-
My name is Rod and I like to party, and then like my name is Kevin and I like to party. That whole scene.
And I
is-
also like to
And he
party.
says, "No, Kevin, you do not party. I'm the only one who parties." And at the end, he goes, "Let's party." Also, Andy Samberg, call me, baby. Give me 15 minutes. Andy
I'll
Samberg,
change your life.
I will
Yeah,
change
yeah.
your life. I love you so bad, dog. Specifically in that movie with that hair. It's crazy. Anyway.
the jumpsuit.
There was another part of that movie. Oh, fuck. It's when Bill Hader and that other guy are sitting out by the swimming pool. And Bill Hader or the other guy with the buzz cut, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know his name.
The buzz cut?
Yeah, and he's like, I've been drinking green tea all goddamn day. It's the other friend.
Oh.
Not Bill Hader and not the guy from The Lonely Island and not Andy Samberg, but the other guy.
Oh, I'm going to kick my... It's good because I'm going to be listening to this episode in 3 days.
It's
and
that
be
guy.
It's that guy.
Anyway, it's him and Bill Hader sitting out by the swimming pool, and that other guy is like stream of consciousness rambling a dream that he had
Yes,
one time.
yeah.
And Bill Hader is trying so hard actively not to laugh, and he has to keep taking sips out of the cup that he's holding because he starts to like break character.
Yeah.
That movie is so fucking good, dude. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's Danny McBride.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then his Bill Hader's sister brings out punch, and she's like, "Where are we gonna put it?" And he goes, "I don't know. It's your backyard too." And she's holding it, and he's like, or no, she asks what flavor they want, and he's like, "Get cherry or whatever." And she's like, "We don't have that." And he's like, "Just fix whatever we have." And she just stares at him, and he goes, "Don't just stare at me, go!" Like, I love that movie so much. Okay, the solos for this week. We have Kendall. Abby says, I need you to prove that you...
I got hold on a second. Listening to this podcast has to be such an insane experience for
That's
people
probably true.
because we just
Then they just
float.
keep coming back, though.
We
They're
just zigzag in and out of like what we're actually supposed to be talking
They're
about.
resonating with something.
Yeah, and I think they just tolerate the nonsense. Like, yeah, talk about dance. Oh God, here they go again.
Yeah.
5 minutes of bullshit. Rachel's microwaving something in the background. Iggy's
That
jumping
you cannot
around.
hear in the microphone. Do not worry. Don't let this man make you feel insecure.
Well,
Don't
no.
worry.
Is she feeling insecure? No, don't feel insecure. Just vibe back there. I'm just saying, there's just like all of this, and then
True. Her signature.
the audio signature, yeah.
True, the
And so,
microwave.
but then we'll just immediately like. So anyway, the solos are
Anyway, this whole is this
and
week.
go right back in. It's got to be insane to listen to.
Are you
Yeah.
leaving?
I'm just running to Walgreens.
Oh, okay.
So yes,
Be disruptive
Bye, Mom.
kick the door in.
Slay.
Hell yeah.
Iggy, come sit up on the couch. Your mom's leaving.
No, she has to mourn the absence of her mother for a
it's
minute.
So stupid. Okay, Kendall gets a solo. Abby says something that I've said to you several times where she says, I need you to prove that you're more than just a pretty face.
Except you
Abby-
never tell me I have a pretty face.
Abby, I know, but I need you to you don't have it, but if you did, I need you to prove that you would be more than that.
That's
baseline.
not.
You know what I mean? The next one is Nia. Slay that Nia gets a solo. And she says, you're going to be an underdog. And that's also the name of your solo. You have to bring out the bow wow and the bite. Hey, what?
I think that's.
Hey, what?
I think that's fun.
Hey,
At
what?
that moment in time, I was like, okay, that's like cute and funny. That's And Nia is an underdog. She's consistently on the
that
bottom
is
of the
true.
pyramid.
Her teacher consistently prays for her downfall. So
And
that is true.
actively works towards it sometimes.
True.
So I was like, okay, well, this will be like fun. She's gonna be like maybe a little fierce and have to like really bring some attitude and blah blah blah. We will soon find out that's not really what she meant.
No. Chloe gets a solo that's called I Should Have Known.
You should have known what.
Better. Karma's a bitch. Should have known better.
In the words of our Lord and Savior Jojo Siwa.
Jojo Siwa.
Dude, I need to watch another one of her music videos again. That was such a trip, dude.
She's crazy. She's like an insane person. Christy is big mad that Sarah didn't get a solo.
Christy,
like big mad about it.
shut.
And the
up.
other moms and Abby, when I tell you, not a damn person, her daughter included, is on her side.
Right.
Everyone wants her to shut up.
Sarah's
Everyone
like,
wants her to stop.
I don't deserve one. Why are you arguing right now?
Yeah, and Abby says, you know what? She doesn't even have to be up here. And then she takes her headshot, poor Brandon, the PA, and like frisbees it onto the ground. That's when we find out that the pyramid was just a block. Because earlier when she was reading out the names, they were like tight shots on each headshot.
Yeah.
But now that she's like pulling things off and freestyling, now they have to zoom out and it's just a rectangle of headshots. Christy gets mad, obviously, duh.
Yeah. When is she not? Hey, if you just stay mad, you don't have to get mad. You know what I mean?
Girl, don't I know it. Don't I fucking know it. If that's not my song. The moms go upstairs, and we see some group rehearsal. It's like, the group is like a carnival theme, sort of. Abby says at this point. It's okay. Christy says in her talking head that she thinks that Abby is giving too many props to Maddie. She says kind of what we were talking about earlier, that like, it is cool that Maddie did this professional thing and like did this very public facing thing, but like our girls could have done it too. They're just not given the same opportunities that Maddie has. But it's not that Maddie was so special. It's just that she has different avenues of getting those opportunities that the other girls just don't have.
Yeah. Something I missed from the last point. Like, Christy starts complaining that Sarah H doesn't have a solo after back-to-back wins, is what she said. Well, she has back-to-back wins. No, the groups she happened to be a part of won, first of all. And then Abby's like, yeah, Sarah, keep it up. You're lucky to be here. Like, keep in mind, again, Sarah is a guest right now.
Yeah.
Abby then, Christy continues on, and then Abby's like, we don't have a problem with Sarah. She's a great kid. We have a problem with you, Christy.
You suck, and everyone doesn't like you specifically.
Yeah.
Christy says that someone called the studio a while ago and asked for dancers for something, and according to Abby, the only girl who was ever available was Maddie.
Yeah, Christy then also in her talking head says that Abby is grooming Maddie, and I put, boy, I'll say.
Boy, for real.
And then she continued on, for professional work.
They're
Like she's
oh,
very
sure,
much
that's
grooming
also
her
true.
long pause for professional work.
Yeah, both of those independent sentences are true.
Yeah, I don't think it's grooming as much anymore. She literally kissed her on the fucking mouth last episode. I've thought about that several times this past week.
I've blocked it out.
I've thought about it several times.
The way that woman went to prison for financial fraudulent activity and not kissing a child is crazy.
Bro, she's like Al Capone.
And it was on TV, and Lifetime put it out. Fuck you, Lifetime. Y'all are culpable in this.
Yeah, they deleted this episode.
Yeah.
And not the one where
the
she...
adult kissing a child. Crazy. Crazy.
You seen, speaking of adults kissing children, you seen that
I'm so scared.
Drake brought a girl up on stage one time at a concert?
Drake did that a lot.
She said that she was 17
Yeah.
and he still like kissed her several times.
Yeah, Drake is openly attracted to people
Children.
who are not 18.
That
Openly.
is-
Yeah. That's why he got flamed by Kendrick Lamar. It wasn't speculation. It was like,
Oh, I know
you
that.
are openly a fucking freak, and so
Yeah.
I'm gonna roast your ass.
I listened to Not Like Us came on at the gym today.
Great song.
Yeah,
Great
it goes
song.
hard.
Yeah. The album cover art being just like an exterior photo of Drake's actual house. Awesome. Awesome.
I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, dude.
I did not
that's
realize
that man's
that.
house for real.
That is remarkable.
Yeah. The moms talk about the last time that Maddie was out, and there was the last time that Maddie wasn't able to dance with the group, and there was a sub for Maddie, and that last time it was Kendall. So they're all like, "Oh, well, shouldn't it be Kendall like this time? If that was who was subbing in for Maddie last time?" And Abby tells the girls, specifically Kendall, "If Maddie comes in and looks better than you, you can't blame me," which is nuts because she's basically saying like, "You can't blame me for the decisions that I make." If she comes back and she's better than you and I pull her out, don't blame me. I'm like, the fuck?
That is really crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't believe me?
No, I
How
didn't.
do you not
I didn't know what
believe
it looked
women?
like. Shut
Oh.
up. I just didn't know what it looked like.
No, yeah, that's Drake's house for real. And then a bunch of those like unidentified like avatar
Yeah,
pictures.
yeah. Holy hell, dude.
My family last summer when we were on vacation, one of the nights was a PowerPoint party. And my PowerPoint was about the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef because it was happening, like it was actively happening. But what people be forgetting sometimes is that beef was kicked off by Megan Thee Stallion. Okay, the camera died. But the law, Megan's law that Megan Thee Stallion is referring to is the law that says when you buy a house, you have to register as a sex offender on a list. Megan's law created sex offender registries. And she was directly referring to Nicki Minaj's husband, who's a registered sex offender. And Nicki Minaj and Drake are best friends. And at the very end of the rap, she says, "Don't type me nothing else. Don't write me nothing else. Download JPay, since y'all bitches got so much to say," which is the app where you can message inmates. And she says, "Or schedule a conjugal visit or something." That's iconic. And then like a week later, because Kendrick Lamar loves Megan Thee Stallion, they kind of went back and forth with Drake, and then Not Like Us came out like a handful of months later to like end the beef. And it's the most Grammy awarded rap song of all time. So Drake is like fully cooked. He is fried, dyed, and laid to the side. That poor man. Well, poor nothing actually. Also, did you ever see that video of Drake yanking it when that was going around?
Hello?
Did you ever see that?
No, but you
that
told
man's
me that
dick is so weird.
You told me that somebody, like you and some of your friends,
Yeah.
like looked it up.
It was crazy. Anyway,
Like a spaghetti noodle.
we get to a commercial, and then we come back from the commercial.
Speaking.
Sorry, don't sue me for Whiplash, children. This is what you signed up for. You signed up for
This has
two
been going on
chaotic
for
people
years.
talking about Dance Moms a little bit and a bunch of other bullshit for like 90% of the journey. So, and y'all bitches be sticking around. I see that listener retention. Y'all are here for it, so I don't want to hear about it. Anyway.
The level of tolerance of our listeners and
Crazy.
viewers
The
is
level
really
of pain
high.
tolerance, specifically their bullshit bandwidth, as my therapist used to say, crazy high. Okay, when we come back, Maddie is like in with the rest of the squad in the mirror room talking about the Ellen gig. Christy, kind of over it, just kind of overhearing about. Then I met this celebrity and they said this, but Abby's like egging Maddie on.
Yeah, so is Melissa.
Yeah,
Melissa was very
and
excited.
so I think Christy's more mad at Melissa.
I listen. She's excited for her kid, and that's great. But Abby's like really getting into it, and Christy's like, "This is just like another way to put Maddie on a pedestal in front of the other kids."
Right.
That's all it is.
Right. I really don't think that people talk about how much of a cultural reset Chandelier was. That song was everywhere when that song came out. and that
It still
video's
is a
everywhere.
few places.
That song is so good. That era of
How
Sia was so good. Abby wants to use Maddie this week as an assistant choreographer. Bullshit. That also turns into nothing.
Yeah.
We don't see the effect of that literally at all.
Yeah.
And Christy says this is just another way for Abby to get Maddie in everybody's head and, like, be annoying.
Yeah. And then the thing is, Jill's like during Kendall, they move on to Kendall's solo, and Abby makes Kendall watch Maddie do part of her solo, and then Jill
Do part of Kendall's solo.
Right. And then Jill is up in the Lido deck, and she's like, listen, I get that you can like compare the kids, be like, hey, look how well she's doing it. Do it like that, or
That's
whatever.
not what's happening.
But there comes a point when it kills their self-confidence. Here's the other thing. Don't do that.
Yeah. You don't have to do that.
Just don't do that. Melissa in her talking head then says, like, the other moms are just jealous. They don't need to take it out on me. Thank you again, Melissa, for proving how utterly fucking tone deaf you are.
Yeah.
And she's
The
just
reason
so
why people don't like me
clueless.
is because they're jealous.
So delusional.
Maybe
That's
they don't
some
like you because you suck.
That's some Matt Rife shit.
Do not.
Remember when he said that?
Get me the way that all the blood just drained from my face. I hate that man. That man is ugly. He looks like handsome Squidward, and he's not funny.
I don't know about that.
You don't think he's you think he's hot?
No.
Oh.
I think he's pretty good at
You
crowd work.
shouldn't. He's a misogynist.
He's pretty good at crowd work.
Yeah, but that's different. I feel like it's a different set of skills.
Yeah, that's still funny
But he
though.
got a Netflix special off of crowd work.
Oh, yes.
That's I don't.
His prepared
love that.
material isn't good.
No, it's not.
His crowd work is pretty
Obviously.
funny though.
I just can't stand him. Also, he looks like.
No, that's
that.
fair.
He looks insane. Kendall has a solo.
He's got them detox cheekbones.
He wishes he has the handsome Squidward's jawbone, and he has the jawbone of Samson, and that's not a good thing. It's like he literally has a box for a face.
I think he's conventionally very attractive. I think a lot of people.
Matt Rife is fugly, and I thought that before he revealed himself to be problematic.
I think you're very much in the minority there.
That's totally fine.
I want to be clear. I'm not a Matt Rife stan
Apologist.
at all. He is a problematic human being.
He makes jokes about beating women.
That's
Like,
a good-looking
insane.
dude.
I disagree personally. I didn't like him before he came out as problematic.
I think you can also make a good joke. If you can make a joke about anything, if it's funny, if it's good.
I disagree. I do think
You
there's
think
some
it's
stuff you
impossible to like make a funny like Holocaust joke? Not that I'm going to right now.
Personally,
I
as an individual,
I have found a lot of them funny.
I think that there is content that should not be open to the general populace to make jokes about. Like, if you want to make a joke about the people group that you are a part of, that's different from someone who's not a part of that people group making that joke.
Sure, but I'm saying, like, is it possible to make a good
If
one?
it's by the right person, yes. I don't think it's being funny. I think it's by the storyteller. In my opinion, I'm not anybody.
It's dependent on that person to be funny.
Yes. Yeah, it has to be funny, but it also has to be coming from the right person.
I don't know.
Like, Matt Rife making jokes about beating women is not funny. To me, personally. I don't think that's funny. But if there was a woman or a man who was a victim of domestic abuse, a survivor of domestic abuse, who wanted to make a joke about their lived experience, I think that's different. Me, personally. That's just me. And we don't have to agree on it. That's just
Yes,
how I
we
feel.
do.
No, we don't. We don't have to agree on anything. We disagree on a lot of things, especially on this podcast.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
We disagree all the time. Okay, Kendall Solo has a mirror, and there's like a scar on her face, and there's like a mirror, and it's like a whole thing.
It's good. It's good design.
It is, yeah. And when she does it like in performance, it actually does look like pretty cool.
Yes, very effective.
Christy says that this is just building kids up in Abby's mind, but no one else thinks that. And Melissa in her talking it says that the other moms are just jealous. That's what she just said. Sorry. We see Chloe's solo rehearsal, and Abby in her talking head says that Chloe had more chances when she was younger than Maddie did. And that she should have known that another girl was going to zoom in and Lightning McQueen ka-chow pass her.
If this is actually the case, it explains a lot of the treatment of Chloe by Abby. Not that she's dealing with it correctly, but it explains it a bit. If she's basically like Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 3 of Star Wars, like, you're the chosen one.
I've never seen Star Wars, so I don't understand that.
Okay, well, at one point, Obi-Wan, one of the good guys, is yelling at Anakin, who, spoiler alert, becomes Darth Vader. Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one.
Oh.
And through like various traumas, like his
became evil.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and so
tea.
And so
Star Wars has some tea in it.
Dude, Star Wars is phenomenal. And so they're like squaring off, and Anakin's just like, you don't see things how I do. He's like an angsty teenager, kind of.
Oh, sure.
Obi-Wan's like, dude, grow up. This isn't how you think it is. And he eventually yells at him, like, you're supposed to be the chosen one. How can you end up like this? And I feel like that's a lot of the frustration that Abby feels about Chloe. Like, Chloe's got the long lines, and she just very much has, like, the dancer's body, and she's really talented, and blah, blah, blah. And so I feel like Abby was like, I was supposed to have two Maddies.
Yeah.
Chloe, if Chloe had taken this seriously, she'd be at Maddie's level or even better.
Sure.
And so a lot of what she feels, and the reason that she like kind of shits on her sometimes, because like you were supposed to be, in my mind, so much better than you are now. You're great, but you're supposed to be even better. And so she feels like this like resentment for her.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, I have an addendum to my thoughts about comedy. I also think it depends on what the punchline is. Because if the
it has to be a good joke.
Yeah, if the punchline...
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can make a good joke.
Yeah, I think like the most like famous instance of this conversation is Hannah Gatsby talking about Monica Lewinsky. And she makes a great point that the butt of that joke is Bill Clinton. It's not Monica Lewinsky. She was a victim of like workplace harassment, and she, fell into like a power dynamic struggle. Bill Clinton is a sack of shit and an old ass bag of bones. He is the butt of the joke. Like, he should be the punchline, not...
That's what I'm saying. If you write a good joke, you can make a good joke about anything.
Okay, where are we?
On a couple of couches.
Abby tells Chloe that she needs to think of her challenges coming at her as like things that she needs to prepare for. And she says, Maddie has a video. Mackenzie has the #1 song. Hey, Mackenzie did not have the #1 song.
Yeah,
that is so not true. And Christy upstairs is like, she looks awful. Like, her dancing is ass. And she's saying her dancing's ass because she's like getting really nervous and she's getting frustrated. And in her talking head is like, Maddie's in there. And like, Maddie's doing her number, watching her being annoying. And like, that is what's shaking Chloe.
Yeah.
We see Nia solo rehearsal, and Jill says like, oh, this number's like hip hop. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
True.
She's just black, Jill.
And then we get to... Abby says that in this number, Nia is a vicious dog in an alley that's been chained up. And then Abby has Nia bark. And then Abby starts barking. And Abby pulls Nia over to her, holds her by the hips, and asks her to bark at her. And Holly, her talking head, is pissed. And Melissa says, well, this is different. What an astute observation, Dr. Obvious. Like, thank you so much.
Way to go, Mal. Oh, my God.
And Holly says this just isn't going to win. Holly's like, this is bullshit. She is just, like, using this as an excuse to bully my child. There's no way this is going to win. And Christy goes, well, at least she has a solo. And Holly slow turns and looks at Christy and says, whether or not your daughter has a solo is not my issue. T as fuck. Slay, Holly. And it's awful. It's like the worst moment ever. Actually, that's not true. It gets worse. But that's where we're starting. And where we're starting is bad. We're starting at the big bad, and it only gets worse from here. Mr. Farmer, do you have any comments?
She made her bark like a dog. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's crazy. I mean, like, what else is there to say?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
It's like you told me about the show Succession, where all the guys have to like oink like pigs and eat off the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
This felt a little like that.
That show's awesome. But they're all billionaire dudes. They're all white men, and they're millionaire billionaires.
Right, but it's a power dynamic.
Oh, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. But and this one's also doubly worse because it's rooted in racism.
Yeah.
So it's just bad. And it gets worse. Don't worry.
Holly literally says, "You've got to be kidding me."
You've got to be kidding. Yeah, this has to be a joke. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. We get some group rehearsal footage, and Christy is really pissed that Sarah's in the back and that she doesn't have a solo, but in her talking head, she's like, I'm going to keep my mouth shut so that she can stay, blah, 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 taking the high road. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, keeping your mouth shut would be, it was the first time for everything, Christy.
Yeah, for real. Abby shits on Kendall's flower crown. Rude as fuck. Jill is pissed that Kendall is like being talked down to, and Jill in her talking head says that Maddie is the only one who dances this much because she's homeschooled. And then now we're getting the homeschool drama brought up again, and Jill says, this is so insane. Jill accuses Maddie to Melissa's face. She's like, the only reason she already is succeeding in the group is because she has more private lessons than everybody else, and she already learned this choreography in her private lesson. And Melissa goes, no, she didn't. And Melissa immediately in her talking head is like, so Maddie took it upon herself to talk to Gia to see if she can learn the group routine in her private lessons.
Hey, Melissa, you do know this is being recorded, right?
Melissa, you know you're on TV, right, girl? You know we're hearing this and seeing this.
It's like, that is so not true. Maddie took it upon herself to get this dance in her private lesson.
Girl.
And yeah, like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like,
okay.
I typed in my notes, Jesus fucking Christ, Melissa. You know this is being recorded, right?
Come on, girl. Like, you gotta be a little bit
She's
pickier than
just
that.
so fucking slimy.
Yeah.
She is such a liar and delusional and just like a bad fucking person.
Bad friend, too.
She's a bad friend. She's a bad mother. She's a bad human being.
Real. I agree. We cut to a commercial and we come back. We're 2 days out and we're seeing Kendall's solo rehearsal. All the moms like are upstairs and they ask Jill, like, what did she have to do to give Kendall a solo this time? And Jill and her talking, and it's like, Christy's just threatened and blah. And it's like, oh, great. We're just jealous and threatened bitches. Just like Melissa thinks about all the other moms. Awesome.
I just had this thought that, like, what if...
I'm scared.
You say that every time, and I've never once said something scary. Whenever I'm about to say something, and you're just like, "Oh gosh, I'm scared," and then I have never said something scary.
I don't know about never.
I've listened to every episode that I've been on, and every single time I do something like that,
Okay.
it's nothing scary.
What do you want? What are you gonna say? You just
I
have a thought?
appreciate that you can have your defenses up, but you don't need them.
We're gonna fight about this later.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
But like the fact that Christy knows about this podcast, technically.
No, I can't internalize that.
But like, if somehow, like Melissa, for example, I was just trashing her, just full on trashing her.
Yes.
She's a bad parent. She's a bad friend. She's a bad person.
I agree.
Just top to bottom,
Bad.
taking her down. If somehow she heard that clip and we like saw each other out in public, she's like, "Hey, I heard what you said about me on the podcast. I hope that I would have the balls to be like,
I stand by it.
yeah."
Yeah, I think you would.
Even seeing you now in person, yes, Melissa, I think you're awful.
I stand by
Your
it.
children are successful and happy in spite of you, not because of you.
Yeah, thanks. Shouts out to their therapist.
In fact, Melissa, if you're listening, you can catch these hands.
Damn.
These verbal hands.
These verbal hands. Okay, we see Chloe's solo rehearsal, and Christy says she doesn't really like the theme, and Abby asks Maddie, like, what? Maddie asks...
Well, because Abby says that Chloe looks a little tired in
Oh,
her
Abby
movements.
asks Maddie and Chloe what time they got there.
Yeah, because Chloe looked a
Yeah.
little tired. She's like, "Hey, Maddie,
Right.
when'd you get here?" She's like, 8:30 this morning. And Chloe says, "I started at 3." And Abby says, "And you're the tired one?"
Yeah, because she went to school.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She's like, "I also have been doing things today, Abby."
Yeah, I've been
Abigail.
like being a person before I was here, so a bitch is tired. Nia's solo rehearsal is next. She comes in wearing a collar.
And a leash.
Wearing like something from Hot Topic, probably.
A collar and a leash.
And a chain leash.
What
Holly,
the fuck are we doing here?
Racism. Holly
It's just,
pissed.
yeah.
Me also pissed.
And then
Eli also pissed.
Holly even says, like, "I want to say something, but I know that Nia doesn't want me to.
Yeah.
She's tough." Like, saying it as a compliment. Like, Nia is tough, and
Yeah.
even if she thinks this is crazy, she's going to make the most of it.
And
there,
she-
there is something to be said about, like, that level of endurance. Like, hey, I know this is unfair. I know this is bullshit. I know this is crazy. I'm going to do it anyway.
That's nuts. And she starts rehearsing with it, and Abby's like, it's going to help her with her character. A, fucking how. And B, at a certain point, Holly's like, it's throwing her off. That, like, chain leash part is, like, whipping her in the face. Like, it's not helping her. It's making things... She's embarrassed, and it's making it just physically difficult for her to dance. So it's not helping her at all. Then we're one day out, we sing the group rehearsal, and all the girls have tambourines. It's very like Esmeralda from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, if you're familiar. Abby says that Kendall is the lead this week, and she's going to keep it that way.
All right.
Okay,
way to go,
whatever.
Kendall.
The girls are putting on skirts and like these like sashes and ties, and they're like trying things on.
Yeah.
And Sarah doesn't have one because she wasn't really supposed to be in this dance. Like, this was like kind of a last minute decision.
Abby kind of indicates later. We'll get to it in a second. Sorry. Christy asks Christy asks, like, what are we doing to get her one? And Abby says, you can pray to the FedEx gods, which I thought was funny.
But then Christy's like, I only pray to one God.
I pray
the
to
God.
She says, I pray to the God. Which one, Christy? There are thousands. You are not the center of the universe, and nor is your God.
And neither is Jesus.
Yeah. And then Abby's like, well, life isn't fair. And Christy says, no, the ALDC isn't fair. And I was like, well, that's a read. That is straight up correct. Abby then, in a talking head, admits that she fucked up.
Yes.
She says in her talking head, Sarah isn't on the team, so therefore she wasn't on my costume list, and I just kind of ordered for the girls that were on the costume list, not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Of course, she didn't admit that to the rest of the team, but like,
that would be taking
she actually publicly acknowledged that she fucked up.
Yeah.
Which I thought was crazy.
And she says that this is the world according to Abby.
Yeah.
And Christy calls her garbage. She says, I think that this studio needs to be revamped and we need to take out the garbage, and that starts with you.
Well, so Abby says, like, this is the world according to Abby. Christy says, you're not God. And Abby looks around and kind of smiles and says, in this studio, I am.
T.
Which is funny. And then Christy says, we need a rebrand.
Revamp the studio.
And we need to take out the trash. And that starts with you.
And then Abby like slow turns to Sarah and says, hey, Sarah, you're out of the dance.
She says, you're done. Goodbye.
And then Sarah's like, Miss Abby, can I please do the dance?
Christy looks shocked.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And then Abby in her talking head says, I won't deal with a parent calling me a name. Like, it's never the kid's mistake, but somehow the kid always ends up paying for the parent's mistake. And I was like, yeah, that's your fault, Abby.
Because you do that.
That is your policy, actually. That's not just something that happens. That is something that you love to do.
Right. And then Abby tells Sarah that she can go to the competition if she goes without her mom. But Christy won't release Sarah to the other moms to like watch her for the week, so Sarah doesn't get to go.
Yeah,
which is such dog shit.
You know what's also funny is like Sarah gets onto the bus with them and is like crying, well, with tears in her eyes, asks or is telling Abby like, my mom says I can't go. And Abby's like...
Abby seems like bummed.
Yes, she is. Well, and Abby also says like, your mom could just drive separately. I just don't want her with us on the bus.
And she also says, like, are you sure? Abby says to Sarah, like, are you sure? Like, we're going to go get dinner. We were going to go see a movie, maybe. Yeah. Like, you can't go at all.
Well, she's not trying to... It's so also sad. Weird to do that, though, because, like, you know that the answer is the answer, Abby. You don't need to,
Abby, you could walk it back.
You don't need to dangle these things in front of the child just to hurt her feelings more.
Right.
You're not convinced. She thinks that children have so much control over their parents.
Yes, she said multiple times, like, you should tell your mom, no, I'm going to dance class. I'm going to walk, or like whatever. And it's like, she doesn't understand that they don't have agency like that.
Yeah, hey, Abby, she's 9.
Yeah, she doesn't get that. She doesn't understand the concept of youth. That's why she's so miserable.
That's why she kissed one of them.
Oh, God. I'm trying to, like, take their soul like Ursula. We cut to a commercial, and we come back from a commercial, and we're at the competition, and there's no fans outside. And Abby's like, yeah, I decided that we were going to get here early so we could beat the crowds. Likely story. I just don't think anybody gives a shit. But
I think it's 2 things. At the time, I thought that seems correct. Like, because they have to reblock the number.
Yeah, without Sarah.
Yeah, so, like, I totally get it. The second reason is I noticed later on, like during the awards especially, there's like 30 kids there.
Yeah.
And like a half dozen parents or whatever. Like there's nobody there. This is a very small competition.
Yeah. We get to the green room and Kendall tries on her costume and Abby mentions something about like, well, this was Maddie's dance and this was Maddie's costume. Yeah. We will later come to find out that what she means is that the number was meant for Maddie and the costume was meant for Maddie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like she was doing Cry, like, or doing like a Maddie solo.
Right.
She's just taking something that was supposed to be for Maddie. The scars on Kendall's face, they're like prosthetic. They're like pretty lit. I'm not gonna lie.
They're dope.
Nia comes in dressed as a goth dog and Chloe's costume looks like shit from a butt.
Yes.
So Kendall is being propped up very obviously as the Maddie sub, and then Chloe and Nia are being treated the way that they're always treated, which is subhuman.
Right.
It's great. It's awesome. What a time to be alive. Abby and her talking head is like, all of these numbers play to the individual strengths of the individual girls. But it pisses me off because she acknowledges that Nia is a strong performer. She says it in her talking head. She says Nia's a great performer. Bitch, say that to that child's fucking face. Like, try to be helpful a little bit more than 0. Please. So annoying. Performance time. Nia, what?
I will say this, though. She to give more context to that, she says that, like, Kendall practices really well and then chokes on stage. She says, like, Chloe is a national title holder and normally beats both of these girls she's up against, but it's anyone's game. It's a nonsense comment. But what she says about Nia, she's like, Nia has, like, no emotion during practice, but then she steps out on stage and just, like, becomes this performer. And that, as a band teacher, drove me crazy.
Yeah.
You can't practice at, like, 70% and then get on stage and expect to be great.
Yeah, I would get that as a theater teacher.
Yeah, you just, like, try harder.
Come on, dude.
Now's not the time. You're doing something you've never done before right now. You want to do that and get a score for it? That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, do something you've done a million times. Exactly how you've done it a million times, and you'll do it perfectly.
Yeah. Nia goes first. Her music is shit from a butt also. Holly is living, though. Holly's like, yeah, my kid's tearing it up. And Nia kind of slays. She does death drop at the end, which made me giggle. Like, we're still doing this, but, like, okay, whatever. I had a student, side note, who could death drop, and he would do it all the time, like, in the not the right times. Like, I'd, like, have the kids, like, stop where they are and be like, all right, we need to go back to the top of this scene. Everybody go backstage. And we're going to rework whatever. And Justin would just, like, whoosh, on the stage. I'm like, Justin, get up. Stop death dropping. And he'd be like, okay. And then toddle backstage and, like, look at me from backstage and death drop. I'd be like, Justin, get up. Like, you can't be death dropping all over the place.
You said someone can death drop like it's a skill.
It's kind of difficult just the way that you have to fall and, like, your flexibility and... It's not like it's impossible. It's like doing the splits. Like, anybody could do the splits, but the death drop is just a certain way of falling.
Doing the splits requires, like, flexibility, a lot of it. Death drop is just falling.
Yeah, but it's falling in a certain way where you don't injure yourself.
Yeah, you slow yourself down very slightly with your foot.
And you land on your shoulders more than you land on your butt.
Right.
When you hit the floor.
Right.
Like, I don't have that muscle to do that gracefully. But my student could do it all the time very gracefully and was never injured, and it was just really funny. Chloe goes next. The encrusted ALDC across her collarbone is insane.
Dude,
it looks so bad.
Chloe,
baby, I'm so sorry they did this to you. She looks so fucking bad.
I don't have an opinion. I've said this is probably a season and a half, 2 seasons ago. Ugh. I don't have real opinions on what, like, children put on their body. I just don't care, like, what your costume looks like or whatever. This was stupid and bad.
It looks awful.
This was stupid and bad.
Yeah.
Why is it ALT? Like, it has nothing. Like, why you're just repping your dance studio's brand? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, lame as fuck, goofy as fuck.
Yeah.
Jill in her talking head says that she's nervous that Kendall is doing Maddie's solo, and it's Chloe performs, she eats. It's great, but the costume looks like ass.
Christy didn't look thrilled after the dance. I skipped through the dance. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
She probably wasn't thrilled about the costume because it looked stupid.
Yeah, afterwards.
It's a one piece. It's like so fugly.
It's bad.
Kendall's next, and Jill is like, I'm so nervous because she's doing one of Maddie's numbers, and it's not something that she would do. It's not something that's, like, totally their own, like Nia's and Chloe's, which kind of a read to be like, their awful numbers are more true to who they are. Kind of a read. And we cut to commercial, and we come back, we see Kendall perform. And I think, at this point, I said I think she's going to win just based on the costume and the music. Like, the vibe is just much cleaner of a vision, and she eats, and Jill is really excited about it. We go back to the green room for the group number, and Abby's giving, like, her form of a pep talk, and which is like, don't fuck up or I'm gonna kill you.
Everyone
like, that's
will
her
remember.
Pep talk. Yeah.
Everyone will remember forever.
The day that they played the Titans. Yeah. Then the group performs. The music is in a language that's not English, and that also makes me nervous. There's just a lot of weird overstepping of boundaries happening all over the place in lots of ways, and it stresses me out. It's fine. It's bad, but it's fine. Whatever. And when we get to the awards, the announcer for the awards wearing a fuck ass fedora. He is rocking an FAF, and I love that for him. The solo awards scores. Nia gets 4th.
Oh, wait, sorry.
What?
They get to the awards, and there's just a very brief shot. All the kids, Mackenzie's out in front leading this shit, are doing the Gangnam Style dance.
Love. Living their best 2014
That really,
life.
yeah,
They're
that
doing
really
their
got
thing.
me.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Nia gets 4th. Yikes. Chloe
Probably
gets...
out of like 4 or 5.
Yeah, probably.
There's like
yeah.
no one at this competition.
Yeah.
There's a good chance it's out of 4 or 5.
Chloe gets 2nd, duh. And Abby blames it on her skipping class or some shit, I don't know. And then Kendall gets 1st. And
Good for Kendall.
Like, very sweetly in her talking, it says that she had really tough competition because she was competing against Chloe and Nia, which I thought was really sweet.
Lumping those two
I had
together,
tough
though, is...
competition.
I mean...
I thought that was sweet for Kendall to say it.
Yeah, but
was
we
sweet.
all know that Chloe's in a completely
A
different
league
class.
of her own.
Yeah.
In more ways than one? Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Well, she is. She's a lesbian. After the awards, we go back to the green room, and the moms are calling it rigged in Jill's favor. Rigomoris. They're like, Jill, or what's her name, Kendall, got Maddie Solo in costume, and it was rigomoris and whatever.
What is rigomoris a reference to?
It's a Drag Race reference.
Okay, because the word that is not...
Alyssa Edwards in the season we're currently watching at one point says, "If y'all send me home, it was rigomoris, girl, rigomoris." And Detox goes, "Who's Morris?" And Alyssa stops and looks at her and she goes, "Rigor mortis, girl." And then she like dies from embarrassment.
That's awesome.
She says rigomoris. It was rigomoris, girl. Jill in her talking head says that these moms are bitching about nothing, duh, because Jill is on her Melissa shit this week. And it's like, all of you dumb, miserable, ugly hoes are just jealous.
It's just
like,
one of the...
no, not really. Like,
It's
not jealous
just
of you, but
the second
still mad.
that any of them ever taste success or
like,
power
you
or whatever...
Never.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Girl.
Yeah, it's just so
It's
crazy.
so stupid, yeah.
It's so crazy.
Christy, her talking head, says that they all just prove that they don't need some randos in their studio. They're like, we are still
all right.
eating, whatever.
Listen,
okay.
you beat like a couple other dance studios that are from like bumfuck nowhere. Let's not act like you beat anyone
Let's
good.
maybe not.
Yeah, chill.
Abby comes in and she's like, says that she's proud of Kendall. She admits, like, yes, this was supposed to be Maddie's solo in costume, but you did great. Proving that it's not Maddie's talent, it's the material. Just throwing that out there. She is outing herself as a favoritist.
Yeah.
And then Abby also, like, kind of gets on Nia about, like, not serving face hard enough.
She says there was a lot of good, but you could have been, like, flirtier or sassier at times. And then she gives an actual good piece of advice that we've talked about before. And she says, like, where is it? You have to take risks. When like you have to go like full out.
Sure.
You
gotta
can't
go
be
nuts.
afraid to look a little silly. You have to go full out.
True.
Let me worry about whether it looks silly or not.
Yeah.
You do what I'm telling you to do.
Yeah, and if Abby was a safe adult, I bet kids would feel comfortable being silly in front
Yes,
of her. But
correct.
Abby will make fun of them if they look too goofy.
Correct.
Abby says that she doesn't see the fire in Chloe, and she says that when she brings it when she's in a real competition, so she needs to bring it in other like areas. Like,
I mean,
okay,
yeah,
sure.
I'm certain that Chloe, first of all, gets bullied by Abby constantly, and so
Yeah.
doesn't want to give her full self to anything. But also,
Yeah.
she's not dancing. What she knows that Nia and Kendall and the other girls at this competition are not in the same echelon as she is. She knows that.
True.
But if she was dancing against like Kalani or Maddie or Cameron, then she'd bring that shit for sure.
Right.
Or there was just like a bigger competition. It feels more like it's the real deal. I remember like I was a very like very bando commando. Like I loved marching band and stuff. But if we went to competition out in the middle of nowhere and there's like 4 bands in our class, like it felt less serious.
Yeah.
So I very
There's
much.
not as much on the line.
It didn't feel like it.
Yeah,
And
there's
so,
not as much at stake.
Yeah, yeah. And so I can very much level with what Chloe's maybe I'm assuming she's probably feeling here.
Yeah. And then Christy asked Abby if she's gonna bring in any new girls to like sub in for this like second team that's now gone, and Abby goes, "I might."
Yeah, there might be 5, there might be 7. We'll see. And then
Okay,
she
great.
just walks
And
out.
then she leaves. Not gonna lie, kind of a boring episode.
This is an incredibly boring episode. Good thing you and I are fucking hilarious.
Yeah, true. I know you used to shit on me for talking about how things were boring, but like...
Well, don't do it beforehand.
Oh, can I
You
shit
do it
on it
afterwards.
now?
Yeah, but you
This
just
episode
did.
was boring as fuck. I did not like this episode. Boring.
You don't
Next.
need my permission as a man to do that.
That's fair, but also... I don't want to be an asshole. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the worst person ever. But this episode was boring as fuck.
All right. What do you...
Damn. Song of the week. What's your song of the week, brother?
It's Emergence by Sleep Token. And I know for a fact, like, 4 of our listeners were
I know
just
what
like,
Sleep Token is.
oh my God,
I know what Sleep Token is.
Yeah, dude, they are, I think, if you don't know who Sleep Token is...
You should.
They're not for everyone. I think they're a good, easy way to get into a little bit of what I would call groove metal.
Sure.
It's a little bit...
Have you heard their cover of Hey Ya by Outkast?
No, but
It's
remind
sad.
me to listen to
You
that.
need to listen to it.
But this genre of metal is not like screaming. It's not like crazy loud and fast. There are some metal elements.
Sure.
Really good drumming, some bending guitar, blah, blah, blah. But the singer is good, and it's like it just has a really good groove to it. It feels a little bit like it has a funk influence, kind of. A little bit of funk, a little bit jazzy influence in that it like kind of dances around the beat instead of being like super metric and stuff.
yeah.
But it's still very technical, and they're just really good. And so Emergence by Sleep Token, I think, is a really good, just fun song to listen to.
Slay. My song of the week is Dancing on My Own by Robin. I just love that song. The
Who?
end. Robin,
Dancing?
R-O-B-Y-N. It's from... You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's from 2010. It's an old song.
Oh, I know this song.
Somebody said you got a new friend.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Dope. I have to add Sleep Token. I didn't do that. Oh, no.
It's a great song. In a cruel like twist of fate, you have an actual answer for yours. I just like my song.
You know,
I'm putting together a playlist for my house party, and so I've been like going through good shit. And I remembered Dancing on My Own by Robin. I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
are you trying to do more like gay music or more like hip hop and stuff?
I am throwing a party at my house that's called the Anything But Work
And
Party.
all of y'all are invited.
No.
Here's the address.
No, it is called the Anything But Work Party. I'm inviting only my coworkers, and they are allowed to talk about anything but work. And anybody who's caught talking about work has to take a shot.
Oh, I love that.
Me too. So the playlist is something to the effect of like Jealous by Nick Jonas and The Spins by Mac Miller and then Bad Blood by Taylor Swift and then Right Where You Want Me by Jesse McCartney, Don't Take the Money by Bleachers, Tissues by Youngblood Slay.
There's a lot of white people.
I mean, I work with almost all white people. Bacon by Nick Jonas, which that song makes me want to freak my shit. I love that song.
Cake
Shut
by
Up
the
and Drive
Ocean.
by Rihanna, Alter Ego by Doechii, 360 by Charlie XCX, If Loving's What You Want by Rihanna, 1-2 Step by Missy Elliott and Sierra. Like that,
Okay.
it's like back and forth.
We're getting into it a little bit, yeah.
So it's gonna be so fucking fun. Anything
like
but
it.
work party. Well, email us our email is thepyramidpodcast@gmail.com.
Y'all have been great with emails recently.
Loving the emails. They
Keep 'em
really
coming.
make me giggle.
Oh, someone cyberbullied me the other day.
Good.
I
as
forgot.
they should. Somebody was sliding into our group DMs. I don't know if you read this, recommending smut to me. Period.
Yeah, I got
Keep it
the
up.
notification. I assumed that you were like it was
Sending
towards
that
you.
freaky shit to me, please. If you want to do it, and Eli won't be able to see it, my Instagram username is not Amanda B _ You can just send it to me directly. You don't have to go through him. Eli is at Eli _farmer_.
I am.
I'm at not Amanda B _ We are at the Pyramid Pod, and our email is thepyramidpodcast@gmail.com. Anything else?
Good night, Alyssa.
Good night, Alyssa. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, I fucking nailed that one.
Did you?
Iglet. Does he the better than him?